Okay, we're going to go over another example of using XML. This is similar to the example we work on in the practice problem. There we're grabbing weather. I'm going to show you just how that can be applied to a different range of XML feeds that are available out there. So I've created a web page here, and I put a list box here. I called it LB listings for my headline listings, and I created a button here. And what we're going to do is when we click on that button, we're going to copy the headlines in here into this list box. So first, where are we going to get these headlines? So again, we can look, if I just Google like XML headlines or XML news feeds or current news or something like that, I should see a number. So here's the National Weather Service. This is what we're actually using in the practice problem, if you've looked at that already. But here's other ones: the BBC, New York Times, thefool.com, NPR, and if you keep looking, a lot of news feeds are provided here. CNN's news feeds, and there's lots of news feeds you can get. You can actually get news feeds, sports feeds. You can get news feeds from Craigslist. Lots of different sources provide these RSS type news feeds. So I'm going to go to the NPR news feeds and see what's available. And I'm just going to grab their news headlines here. And so this is, I just clicked on it. This is the actual news feed, and it comes in. The RSS feed isn't formatted at all. So this is just an XML document. This is called an RSS feed. It's a special, a kind of a set format for XML document. But I can use the same techniques I'm using here. Let's see, what does it have? It has these different news items here. I can see each headline is a separate news item, and that's within the a couple tags here. There's usually a channel tag and an RSS tag above that in this particular one. And for every news item here, there's a title, a description, publication date, a link to the actual news article, and some other information here. And so we'll be grabbing the title information and the link information here to display. So again, that's within the item tag. So we'll have to remember a little bit how these tags are set up. So let's just quickly look at the code under this button. So I'm going to read this using a web client. So I have to declare a new web client and make sure I have, I think it's just system.web.ui available here. And then I need with that web client, I use this download string to download the RSS feed into a string variable. So I have to declare a string variable and use this download string method to do that. And I specify the URL, the web address. And so I'm just copying this exact web address from this news feed and pasting it in here. And so it'll download this whole document. All this text will be downloaded into this one string variable. And then I'm going to convert that to an X document, an XML document. I'm just going to call ours document. And so I'm just going to say xdocument.parse and pass in the feed content to that. Now you'll see sometimes with C# programs that they'll use a generic var here for a variable, and that's often done with people who just sometimes when you're working with these things, you don't know what object type, or you're not worried about what object type is. So you can actually, we know that that's going to be an X document, so I could declare that as an X document here. So now I'm going to use two techniques, and we talk about this in the practice problems. One is a search technique, which will search through a document and find all the matching tags. And the other one is to just look at specific tags from a specific location. So we're going to use the first the search first. So we're going to use our document and use .descendants and specify items or item. So there are all these items. Each of the news articles is marked with an items tag, start and end, and the item that surrounds this news article here. And there's lots of them. So we're going to find all the item tags, and that's what the Descendants does. Descendants will give us this will be a collection of items. And here I am using var because I don't really even know what type this collection is of items, this list of items is. So I'm just saying var there. And here I'm going, I know each element in that collection is an X element. So I'm going to go for each X element elem in this set. And you also see people include this call right in this for each, and you can do that. Then you don't even have to declare this local variable here. Okay, so now we're going through each item, and elem will be assigned. So the first time elem will be assigned to this first item here at the top, and it'll have a subtag for title and link. So now we're going to grab that title and link subtags. So once we've got an element, elem dot, and we can use the dot element tag to grab the link and the title elements out of there. And if we want the values, that's what's stored within the tags. So what's stored between the title start tag and title end tag, which is the title in this case. I can just say dot value. So that's what I'm saying is elem dot elements and then title in quotes dot value will return to me that string that is. So I'm just storing that in a string variable. Same with the link. I'm storing that in a URL. So now I'm going to do something with, initially I'm just going to do something with the title. So again, I've got this list box. I'm just going to populate that with the titles. So I can just add elements. That list box is called lblistings, lblistings.items.add to add items to that list box. And I'm just going to pass in the title to fill that list box up with the titles. So now if I run this, click my button, all the current titles from that location are shown here. So these will match the titles that are over here. So like the first title seems to be debate on wages, and then the next title is watch U.S. Air Force. So debate on oh, I must have missed one title there, but here's the different listings. Now this is just the title. I can't actually click on these and visit them because there's no link here. And I could set that up as code here, but I could also do this all in HTML. So I'm going to kind of change this around a little bit. I'm not going to use my listings tag here. I'm going to actually leave that here. But I'm going to add just a div here and do some actual straight HTML coding. We haven't done too much of this. So I'm just going to add, in HTML, there's a division kind of marker that's called div. So I'm just going to add code for a div and give it some ID, a name, and then I can reference this in my source code. And I'm going to say run at server, so that that means I have access to it in the code also. So I've put that, I've actually just typed in that HTML here in source mode, but you can do some of this in design mode. Where's my toolbox? Oh, I've got to stop this. Yeah. Okay, now let's view my toolbox. So there is a div tag that you can do under HTML. You can just grab this div tag and drop it in here too. So you can see this news, this div tag that's there. So, so I'm going to now change my code here a little bit. So I guess I'll keep that code there that'll add the items to the list box. But it's going to add some code here. So the code I'm going to add is going to put in some links, with HTML links inside the div tag there. And again, we haven't talked too much about HTML, and so you know how familiar you are. But to do a link, just a quick refresher, we have an anchor tag, and we say href equals, and then we specify the URL that it should link to. And that's in either double quotes and single quotes. We're going to use single quotes in this case. And then there's the text that we actually want to tie to that tag, and then an end of an anchor tag here. So I'm going to format that anchor tag, that link. So I'm going to declare a string variable called link, and I'm going to grab this first part of the tag, the anchor href equals single quotes and put that all in double quotes. And then I'm going to add in my URL from my from the news feed that I grabbed up here. Put that in there. Now I've got to add in a single quote and a greater than sign, so single quote greater than, and then I'm going to use the title here for the text that's displayed. So again, I'm going to grab the title that I grabbed up above, put that in here, and then I just have to finish off my tag with the closing end tag in quotes. So again, I format this with a set of predefined strings and string values that I'm grabbing from my XML feed to create this link, and then I'm going to just insert that into my div, and I've named my div news list. So I can just say newslist.innerHTML will put it inside the HTML there, and I'm just going to concatenate this link here. I want a line space, a break after each one, so I'm also going to add a little break field in HTML here. So now if I run this, it will not only update the links here, but also where I have my div tag, update all the all the names here, all the titles, and each of them are linked, so I could click on each of these values and see what they are. So at any of these values, I can click on them, and it's a live link. And you'll see this a lot where people are creating little applets or little web parts that are pulling data from RSS feeds or things like this, and this is how it's typically done. This is a good example of how your ideas for your final project. There's lots of XML news feeds out there that you can be looking at and not just news feeds, but XML or RSS feeds for lots of different things, and you can use that as part of your final project. So keep that in mind, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to show you this sort of stuff, is it makes some good final project ideas.